Welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. Coming up on today's episode, a Brazilian striker from Barca linked to the Reds. Sosa strikes back as he looks to move. Forest expecting a second bid on Niko Williams, and a price set for Danilo for his exit from the City ground. All this and plenty more coming up today on your latest Forest news. Let's get into it. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Hope you guys are doing well. And welcome to a part 2 transfer update for Forest, as there is plenty more news to get you guys up to date with. If you're enjoying part 2, please don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And you've only got until tomorrow to get the last few tickets. There are still a good number left for this double-framed signed Taiwo Awoniyi and Nuno framed Forest shirt with an Insta prize win of a Murillo shirt or the brand new Forest kit. Either scan this QR code right here or click on the link that's pinned in the comments and in the description. Okay, let's get into the news and let's start with a new striker link. Okay, so this link is with Vitor Roque, the teenage kid, the Brazilian, who only joined Barca last January. For a fee reported in and around 40 million euros, which probably made up of add-ons, etc. So the question is, he's only been there for 6 months. Why would Barca be willing to let this one go? Is there any strength in these rumours? And the answer is yes, there is, because Barca again are in financial difficulty. They've just signed Dani Olmo and they can't even register him because they have to get all their finances in order. We've seen it with them over the past few years. They've signed Jules Koundé before, couldn't register until players were moved on. You've seen them trying to sign back Messi and that couldn't happen because of their finances. So Barca, as big and huge as a worldwide name as they are still in a financial mess. So they need to move some players out for them to be able to sign Dani Olmo, for example, and anyone else they want to bring in. So this has a lot of legs behind it. And Barca is saying that they would only really look to break even on Vitor Roque, and that would be around 25-ish million pounds to get the deal done. Pounds, not euros, so about 30 million euros. There are other clubs interested in him. Let me give you the list of them. You got Forest, obviously. You got Everton. You got Girona. You got Porto. You got Real Sociedad. And you got Bournemouth as well. All these clubs are showing an interest in the Brazilian kid. But is he that good? Is he another wonder kid that we should get excited about? Now, I don't want to blow the bubble on this one. But honestly, for me, he's not fully ready for the Premier League. And otherwise, you would have already seen him, for example, playing loads of games at Barca. He got 17 games last season with 2 goals. In a Barca side, that's obviously one of the best in the Spanish league. And he's going to be good, is what I would say. But he's not that kid yet, that wonder kid yet, in my opinion. I still feel that he has to develop on his touch. He reminds me a bit of, nothing physically towards Haaland, but in terms of his participation in games. He's one of those players that may get 5 to 10 touches in a match. Those touches, yes, do count if he can get through on goal and score. But his link-up play isn't brilliant either. And he's quite short, so he can't physically compete with defenders, especially in the Premier League, when it comes to holding the ball up or winning those aerial challenges if a long ball's launched forward from the keeper or Murillo or whoever. Where he is surprisingly good, again, I'm going to contradict myself here a little, is aerially in the box. He does tend to throw himself at the ball quite a bit and will score a few headers as well. So for me, he's a bit of a fox in the box, but not quite developed to there. There are people saying he's like a baby Aguero, a baby Romario, an R9, all these. Not in my opinion. I do think he's probably good enough to play maybe Europa Conference League, something like that. And in 2 to 3 years, he'll be good enough maybe for a Champions League campaign or something like that. So he would fit in terms of the club's size and structure right now into Nottingham Forest. But I wouldn't be that comfortable starting him off the bat, coming from, Brazil to Spain, then straight to England, all in 1 year. It's going to be a lot of adjustment period for him. So I'm not saying I'm against this one. I just don't think with the money that is being asked for, if he wasn't playing for Barca, he would probably be worth a lot less right now. There's the Barca tag that comes into this. And that for me is the worry. I still think Niko, I'm still going to go on about him, would be a better investment for Nottingham Forest. We've still got Jimenez. That's still coming through. Make sure you check out this morning's video for an update on that. And let me just stress here, these reports are saying that Forest are linked to him alongside these other clubs. There have no bids have been put in just yet for him. So I don't want to burst the bubble, but I've got to give you guys my honest opinion from what I've seen of him and what I know about him. He can score goals, but his general play, I would expect it to be a bit more developed by now. But what are your thoughts on him? I know Crypto's a huge fan. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, so you guys have been asking me for a Sosa update, so here it is. Let me give you the latest information we know about him. So we know he's removed all kind of resonance of his attachment to Telles from his social media. He is desperate to join Forest. In fact, he is angry that he hasn't been allowed to join Forest. He's told the club just to accept the bid that Forest have put in for him because he wants to come so badly. And he said basically he doesn't care if Forest have messed around with the terms and changed it from the original verbal agreement. The problem that's going on right now is the game coming up on Thursday where Telles are taking on River Plate in the Libertadores Cup. And the president wants to use Sosa in that match. And he's been integrated back into the team. I think there's been a few videos out showing he's participating in training sessions and everything like that. And there's been the statement that we gave you last time. However, it is starting to become a little bit quiet about him. What we do know 100% is he wants to move. He is throwing his toys out the pram at the moment. And as I said to you on the last update, once the toys are thrown out the pram from the players, 9 times out of 10, it's going to happen. So I still think that there is a chance this one happens. I'm probably 20% less confident than I was this time last week because honestly, it's gone quiet in terms of, apart from this update that I'm giving you now, the rest of stuff, there's been no new communication, so to speak, between the two clubs talking about how they can get past this impasse. So as things stand, he's still going to be there. Telles' main objective is to get him to play against River Plate on Thursday because the Cup de Libertadores is such a huge event in South America and they want their most talented players on the pitch. And he will, if he does play, he will be committed, head turned or not. He will give them 110%. But because the player wants Forest so badly, 9 times out of 10, you expect this to go through. So there's your Sosa update. I wish I could give you more. I wish I could tell you that the flight has been rebooked for his medical coming to Forest. But as far as we know, nothing like that has progressed any further. Let me know your thoughts down below. Okay, so let's give you the latest update on Niko Williams. As we told you in the morning video, and if you haven't seen the morning video, I'll leave it on the end screen or you can go watch it now, whatever. And that will give you the full insight into the backstory on this one. But the bid being rejected from Atalanta is not the end of the story here for their interest in Niko Williams. In fact, the whole interest in Niko Williams is coming because the Levante right back that they're after, who is Mark Pubel, has completely collapsed. For whatever reason, that deal is not going to go through. Now, he is worth a lot less than Niko Williams, valued at about 3.5–4 million euros. That would have been their ideal signing. But Levante, or whatever's happening there, are not going to sell him to Atalanta. So the attention of Atalanta is turning to Niko Williams and Wesley from Flamengo in Brazil. And those are the two players that are now on their shortlist. Now, as we said this morning, there's a bid been rejected for him. And Forest have basically said to Atalanta they want 30 million euros for Niko Williams, which is about 26 million pounds. And that would give Forest an absolutely huge return on the fee they paid in terms of obviously PSR profit. The question here, though, is how is Niko Williams feeling about this? Is he happy at Forest? Is he actively looking for a move? What does he want to do? Now, according to what we know, Niko Williams is more than happy at Nottingham Forest, and a move is not really high on his radar. He will obviously listen, as any human being would, to any opportunities that are put on his table. Atalanta can offer European football, for example. Maybe that's something he's looking to progress his career with. But they are very keen, and the expectation now is that they are going to come back with a second bid, and a bid that's probably closer to Forest valuation for him. Now, in terms of cost, Wesley as well would be a lot cheaper, but Niko Williams has that Premier League experience. He also has international experience with Wales, so that makes him a more attractive proposition, and hence why Forest feel they can ask and charge that much for him. As I said in the morning video, I'm not against this one. I can see Einar quite comfortably shifting to the right-hand side, this funding the move for Roque on the left-hand side, and Forest are going to have a cracking set of wing-backs. I do like Niko Williams, but I just don't think he's had a big enough return. I think he's had 1 assist and 2 goals in 2 years at Forest. I think he's better going forward than he is defensively, and I do think if Forest can cash in that highly on him, it's well worth it. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think down below. Is 30 million euros too high for Niko Williams, or do you think Forest have got it right? Now, speaking on players' fees, as we just did with Niko Williams, let me give you the latest on Danilo. As we told you this morning, that AC Milan are very interested in him and have shortlisted him behind Fofana, who they would ideally like to get. And if they can't get him, then Danilo is the one they want to turn to as a plan B, as a second choice. Now, the reports this morning were saying that it would be north of 25 million to get Danilo out of Nottingham Forest. What we can tell you is that Forest would be looking for somewhere in and around 40 million euros for this move to happen, which is about 36 million pounds. And that would be a huge return on their investment. Remember, we paid 18 million to start with on a 6.5-year deal. He's only got worth about 12 to 14 million left on his amortization. So the profit would be ridiculous if Forest were to do that. And some of you may say, well, isn't that asking a bit too much for a player who some would argue has been consistent in the Premier League, been really good and then really sloppy at times? I would say no. I think Forest are getting this valuation correct because his potential, it's obvious to anyone who's watched him, is huge. If he's played in the right position with the right partner, then you can really see him flourish. So I'm not against this valuation. And if Forest were to get 40 million for Danilo, I think it would be very tempting for them. But nothing will happen until AC Milan can confirm for sure or not whether or not they can or can't get Fofana. If that deal or those talks fall through, then keep an eye out for what they do with Danilo. Ladies and gents, that brings you up to speed with your latest Forest news. I hope you've enjoyed episode 2 of Transfer News today. If you have and haven't already, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new, grab those tickets. You've only got less than 24 hours now to maybe win yourself a prize. We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.